using it and you guys were okay with it, you know, we could definitely use the space, but that's kind of the call you guys have.
Wasn't part of the conversation last week, unless I was daydreaming, wasn't part of that conversation that you had trucks that you could park inside the heated area during the winter that would be beneficial because of the oils, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Scott and Tippett and I kind of discussed all that, and it sounds like that'll all work well with.
I don't know why you would park your county truck that you use daily there and not have your office there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this is common sense, but you know, it's not real common anymore. I get that, as the old saying goes. But okay, I just was asking if we needed to make a note on that. Wasn't trying to create a battle or a big hoopla as to moving offices, etc. So he is working out his budget. Hopefully he has put utilities in his budget, or however that works.
I did not.
Don't think we did.
And I have to have it to the paper this week, so.
Yeah,
Well,
I got utility information from Dana at one point, but since we hadn't like officially approved moving down there yet, I hadn't accounted for it basically. I'm sure I have enough flexibility in there that I could cover it. It's just not probably.
And then I think we'll have to pay the flood insurance too. If there's,
well, we're gonna have flood insurance there anyway, won't we?
we were gonna take it off if it was just those, the farm tractors and stuff.
We wouldn't cover the buildings.
You'd have regular insurance
Yeah.
for fire, wind, or anything, but
Totally get that, but
But we were not gonna cover
But not
the
the
flood
flood.
insurance.
oh, I was under the opinion when we were talking here a couple of weeks ago about flood insurance that it would be, I mean, I don't know why you'd have a building in a floodplain and not have it insured for flood.
The building was insured, but the contents were not.
It's all the, if it's
Because
all the
they could
office.
be moved out at a moment's notice.
Exactly, and that's not an issue. That's what we discussed, moving it out, you know, on a moment's notice. So, but I don't know it'd be wise to take flood insurance off of a building that's in a floodplain.
We're not going.
Well,
No,
that's not
flood
what it
insurance.
said.
Floodplain is a separate
yeah,
policy.
that's totally separate.
I thought we were just taking it off of what's inside the building.
Mhm. That's, the contents and all that's one policy, correct?
Contents, get it, but the buildings themselves, you know. So,
It really don't make a lot of sense. I guess it's not a big deal as long as you're mobile, but it don't look like it's a slippery slope. Once you let him move in there, then he's gotta move out whenever there's a flood.
totally agree. Scott Hansen brought this up months and months ago about a concern about an office moving in there. Okay, and at that time, months and months ago, we talked that, you know, they could elevate the office, he could do numerous things. I don't know why we'd spend the money now to do something like that. You know, if he's quite mobile, pick up and go. Close his laptop and get the hell out of Dodge. So, but as far as flood insurance on contents, no, I don't see that as a big deal, since it would be so mobile, any equipment or office equipment, should that be. But having the building not insured, I think, is not wise. You know, it's in the floodplain. And it's, sheriff's got stuff insured in part of that building, you know, that next to the heated portion, you know, so, but I didn't mean to get into that. I just asked a question. So, do you think we should put a little blurb in there?
I think it's fine the way it is.
That's fine. Then I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor of okaying the 3 sets of minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Ben. Right?
Yeah, I think unless you guys wanted to handle one or a few other things before me.
Oh, I didn't have time items on those, you're fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just had every year I have to submit a resolution, setting out what weeds are considered noxious and what we're responsible for taking care of through the weed commission.
This is one from last year, wasn't it?
Could be, yeah. Really, this document doesn't change a whole lot from year to year. Every once in a while, the state will add another weed. A couple years ago, Palmer amaranth got added to the list, but otherwise it's more or less stayed unchanged since I've been here anyway. I guess the only thing that really has changed from year to year is the date we set for when the public needs to have their weeds taken care of and controlled. I set that this year as May 10th, which I feel like is reasonable, I guess. Normally we've set that a little bit earlier just because then it allows me to take care of weed complaints earlier, because if we set a date later on and I get weed complaints coming in, then I technically can't go out and enforce those until that date is passed. So I know the last few years that has been the discussion, that we set it early. It gives me that flexibility to go out and handle those weed complaints whenever they come in. So, and then the two other pages I attached here are just a notice for roadside spraying that we're required to publish in the papers, and the public notice to organic farmers and vineyards. Basically just says that they need to let us know if they're operating an organic farm or vineyard within the county, and then we'll keep track of that and not spray along their places. So those really haven't changed much either. Normally I just changed the date on them. We did have the no spray sign permitting process to the roadside spraying notice last year when we got that fully implemented, so that's on there again too for people to call and utilize.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the noxious weed resolution?
Moved.
And seconded.
Well, it's by resolution.
Oh, well,
Shake
still.
aye.
Yep. Seaman,
Turner,
aye.
You got the original one with the number on it, this doesn't have a sign number. You want to sign that one too?
Okay.
Yeah, I think one,
Right over there.
just need to have them
Yep.
sign more of them, right?
How far in from the road ditch fence do you have to notify it for vineyard?
What's that now?
How far in from the fence do you have to be before you don't have to notify?
I'm not really sure on that. I think it's kind of up to the public. They really don't even have to notify me if they don't want to, but I think if they have a vineyard and they, I don't know if there is a distance requirement, like how far they have to be. I know it says in the notice that they're not able to use the ditch as a buffer basically for those crops too. So I'm sure it has to be offset a little bit just for their requirements on that. We usually get maybe, I suppose, 3 or 4 producers that call in and let us know every year. And I know pretty well where they're at now, so we can spray along
We put in a vineyard. And, just wondered.
Yeah, if you let me know where it's at. I mean, I've never had an issue with our spray drifting. Usually we're pretty careful about how we're applying everything. Really the only issue with the chemicals that we apply is we do apply a 2,4-D ester that can volatilize under higher temperatures. But that would be really the only risk. But I know a lot of people just say they don't want us to
you got your chemicals washed?
Not yet, we're taking bids right now for them though.
Okay. I need to speak with you afterwards.
Okay.
You gonna be around?
Yeah, I'll be at the office pretty much all day, so.
I'll stop out afterwards.
Okay, moving along, lawn maintenance, what can you tell me about that?
You have the quote there, and he also wanted to know if you guys wanted to do patching or anything extra.
Go from here.
Is that all you need then, Haley? Do you have the
Yep,
signed
you,
copy?
I'll scan that one back to you.
Yeah, if you just wanna email it to me, I'll put it in my records then too, so.
Perfect. Thanks.
Did you guys have, sorry, one last thing I had, did you have an opinion on when you want this stuff published? Do you want me to wait maybe a month before cause I'm required to put the notices in all the county papers. I suppose maybe April, May would probably be a better time when people are thinking about it a little more than right now.
Yeah, I'd wait till things are greening up, you said it white outside.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay,
Okay, thanks, man.
thanks.
So Michael wanted to know about dethatching and aerating. It would be an additional 500 for a one-time fee for both areas. We have not done that before.
What's everybody's opinion?
Is it done at the courthouse lawn?
No, we're talking to the guy that
I
knows.
get that. My question is, was it done at the courthouse?
Rick and Justin handle doing that stuff.
So I doubt they do it there.
I know O'Grady comes and does our yard stuff there for special things.
I think that's kind of a spray application, isn't it?
But he didn't know with the, the ground turn up over that way if you wanted.
Gary? What do you think?
We were getting, O'Grady's to do our lawn, and the wife got somebody else, and I don't know who it is, but,
It's got to do with the dethatching and aerating.
He
I
also
don't know
knows.
what she all does. She takes care of it.
Is that here?
That mowing is just for the service center area. We've had him do it the last year.
Well, let me pass it around so that everybody's on the same page. It's $250 a month.
Same price as we did last year.
And how many, and that includes mowing?
That is just the mowing. The thatching and all that other would be 500 in addition. One-time fee.
And has anybody, thought about all the fairground over around the new building?
I don't know.
That's kind of what he was
That's in
talking
it,
about.
too.
So he's got seating in here too?
Aerating and detaching.
Well, he won't do seating. That won't be part of his job.
I don't know that he even does that.
No.
I don't think it's necessary to detach
No,
and aerate it.
I don't either.
This is all torn up over here. If we don't do it at the courthouse, why would we do it here?
I'd
Correct.
agree.
I agree.
Okay,
So we'll just need a motion if you
Motion
want to
up.
approve that.
I haven't seen it.
I know.
$250 a month though.
Same.
Anything other than that? Mowing, $250 a month.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Oh my, apparently.
I'm not so sure. I should move up here. Get out of this job and get into another one.
I'm not sure you can survive on $1,750 a year. Okay.
I got a motion from Gary.
Second.
All right, all in favor of hiring? I even forgot the name of it. Yep, Mac Long. In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, who we got now?
need to wear this?
You wanna come out front, maybe you wanna talk up front, you can.
That'd be a lot easier for me to talk about getting out of breath.
As long as you get your social distancing, I don't see a problem.
Perfect. So, I didn't know if I was coming to a courtroom or what, so I wasn't sure how this is gonna work, but, so I live at 5485 33rd Avenue.
Hey, good morning.
You're just calling to listen in right now, aren't you, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, so we have you on speakerphone so you can listen in.
And
10 4, thank you.
the bids aren't opening until 10, are you
10
aware?
o'clock, yep.
Okay, thanks.
I'll be hanging around.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I'm at 5485 33rd Avenue, and I don't know if all you guys know where that is, but, leave Benton, head to Urbana, go into Urbana, go past the Casey's, go across the interstate, hit the gravel, just keep on going. Get up the top of the first intersection there's the chicken. I don't know if you guys all know where the chicken is. It's 9/10 of a mile past the interstate, basically, is where I'm at. So I'm past the campgrounds there, past the junkyard, past Ian Steenson's tire repair, past the zoo. I'm on top of the hill right there.
On the corner of 54th and 33rd.
Perfect. So, I've been out there over 10 years. Love the location, love where I'm at, love the place, but we've had a problem these last 5 years, and that's what I've come to discuss with you. To let you know that, so we've had a lot of traffic on that road. It's in the form of dump trucks and demolition trucks. And they've been going, the property to the south of me owned by Bob Briggs. And I get along with Bob great. I like Bob, he's a good people. He's a very good neighbor. The trucks are coming in and out, they're hauling rubbish, basically what I'd call it. Nothing that I've seen to be, there's not like boards or rocks or, they're just dirt, no big deal. Well, I think it was the second year that they started doing this. The gravel dust became so bad, the road became so bad.
Worse than driving on Class B road when it's
Yeah, it's,
not good.
the second year, it hadn't quite gotten to that point, but the dust was so bad down there by Craig Perry's location. And by the way, I didn't know how you guys want to do this, but Craig had to leave for Dallas last night. He asked me if I'd put him on speakerphone. I said, well, I'll talk to you guys. And then if you have any questions, Craig said, he'd go on speakerphone. I talked to him out in the parking lot. He's willing to talk, but I didn't know how you guys felt about doing that. So we'll cross that bridge later on if you want to talk to him. But the dust setting down in that, it was just, it was hazardous. You couldn't even see anybody on the road. There was just no breeze. The trucks were just tailgate. There had to have been 15 to 18 trucks running tailgate, just trucking stuff out there. So I came down, I don't know this for a fact, guys, because I didn't take notes, but I believe I met with Mr. Friesick, and I believe his office was in the basement of the courthouse. I know the office was in the courthouse, but I don't know that it was Mr. Friesick. It's the moral of the story. So I talked to the gentleman, explained to him. I had a video on my phone, which that phone, I lost everything on that phone. It's dead and gone, so I don't have anything I can show you. And plus, it was years ago, but just a video of the trucks going past my house and turning and dust. And he said, well, we'll come out and take a look. But he came out, took a look, said that there's nothing hazardous here, nothing to see. Life's good. They're doing everything legally. It was disturbing, but I respect government. I respect, I don't mean this insulting, but elders, people, you guys are put in this position for a reason, so we left it alone. Well, then it was, I believe, the following year, which is what you're kind of referring to. There were vehicles that were getting stuck on that road because of the boil. It was so bad. Now, can I say that it was those trucks that did that? I can't, because I know further on up the road where the trucks weren't, there were some boils also, but these guys were just beating the living everything out of this road. When I would mow my lawn, it was just dust. The windows, everything was dust. My house was just covered in dust. Everything was just a train wreck. But I moved to the country, I live on a gravel road, I get it. I looked into tree sap and oil, and at the time, I didn't have the money to do anything like that. I called Cinzer. Cinzer was a company that was hauling hardcore at that time. They pretty much told me we don't have to do anything. I said, you don't have to, but it'd be nice if you would. Well, we're not going to. As a matter of fact, we're just about done hauling everything. I said, well, that's pretty interesting. So, sure enough, trucks lightened up. They quit hauling. Got the lawn mowed. It could have been 2 weeks, and there was 4 or 5 trucks. A couple days later, 7 or 8 trucks. And it was within 2 weeks, and they're trucking again. I kind of washed my hands because I was like, well, I can't afford to put oil down. They're not going to do anything. At that point in time, I did go and talk to Bob. I said, Bob, this sucks. This, it's horrible. And Bob agreed. Yep, I agree. It is bad. They should do something. It's just horse crap. They should, but they didn't. They wouldn't. Little did I know at that point in time, Craig Perry was also talking to people because he was having issues. But it kind of leads me to where we are today. Was it 2 weeks ago they started hauling again? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about that. Well, yes, the Thursday I came off the bridge on the interstate, and from the interstate to the end of 33rd Avenue where it dead ends, I counted 7 trucks coming in and out in a matter of minutes. So if you take that times 8 hours a day, you're talking 100 and some trucks a day, times a week. And I don't know if they need to have permits to dump that stuff there or what, but it's terrible.
So,
and that road was so soft, you could barely drive up and down it, and they were running up and down there. I had one pull out in front of me. I drive a school bus. He pulled out in front of me, never slowed down, nothing. I called the sheriff and had him come out. He talked to him. They stopped for a while as far as that, but I had another one pull out in front of me the other day.
So I talked to Craig. Craig again said that he did make contact with the engineer, and this was, I think, 2 weeks ago. And the engineer said, it's a legal road. They're driving on it. Nothing I can do about it. Well, I believe there is something that can be done about it. Like he was making reference to, I don't want to stir a big hornet's nest. I don't want to start a bunch of crap. I really don't. But it's February, and they've kicked it already. They're just, like he was saying, apparently the county engineer, whoever it was, said he came out and didn't see anything. So I went in and took some photos, but they're on my phone. It's kind of pointless. Well, what I did was standing at my intersection right there by my house, I looked towards Urbana, and the road was mud. I pointed to the south down to Bob's house, the road was mud. I went to the east towards where these guys are, snow, and then down my road, solid snow. It was all ice packed. You guys know what gravel roads were. It's just mud. The road grader's already been out there twice trying to level it over, but there ain't no gravel left. I mean, there's just no.
It's pounded down. It's gone.
Yeah, and I don't know that there's been gravel on that road for a while, but last spring, Rick, you and I talked. They did a fantastic job trying to get the road put back together. Kudos to the guys for doing everything that they can do. It's a tough job. But when there's no gravel on the road, I mean, it's like a 4-lane road because it's just been pushed out and pushed out and pushed. There's no ditch. Well, there is a ditch, but not probably what secondary roads would consider a plausible ditch. But I started talking to neighbors saying, look, this is what Craig was the one to talk to me. He said, I think I'm going to have to leave. But if you talk to the supervisors, that's the next step. Talk to county supervisors, get in front of them and see what their thoughts are. I started talking to some neighbors, and I had one neighbor, he wants to stay out of the limelight, but he said, Leslie, the problem is you're missing the forest for the tree. You're looking at the tree. The road is a thorn, and it is. It's one of the things I didn't make a point of is I got 2 children, 5 and 2. Well, my 5-year-old's getting to where she wants to play outside, and I can't. I mean, we can't open the windows. It is what it is. But once again, I moved on a gravel road. I get it. But he said the problem is we've had 5 years of this dumping going on here. Who's looking at it? Who's watching it? Who's monitoring it? We know the stuff's coming from out of county. Are they paying permits? We know that they're not pitching in to help us with our road because all of us are paying our taxes. We pay to take care of these roads. they're not. They're probably not coming to Urbana to get the fuel. They're probably not even coming to Benton County to get fuel. So they're not contributing anything. We've all called them. Well, Craig's called them and I've called them. Help us out. Now, I have knowledge firsthand of other construction companies and how they do this business. I was involved with some construction of some wind towers down south of Interstate 80, and it was out in a rural area. We were putting the pads in. Guys, when the road got that bad, 3 of us cut off and did 2 loads of Class A roadstone. And we chained up our back doors and we spread rock on the county road. We made the road right. It can be done, and it's, if they're doing all this dumping, probably not getting charged for it. I don't, and that's none of my business, but at least they could do is take care of people, and they're not. Once again, what else is going on out there? You know, I mean, are we gonna have, he told me to write this down, and of course I didn't, but it was something to the tune of talk to the county about a catastrophic environmental, I'm not gonna remember it now, to a regulated floodplain. Because that creek down at the bottom of a property between Craig and I is a tributary to Blue Creek, which derives off of his property where the dirt's being put. If the dirt's not being monitored, what's going in that creek? That's not what I started because the road is a pain in the butt. A lot of the neighbors are like, "Lex, you need to talk to these guys about a bigger picture here. What's going in the hill? 5 years of dumping, hundreds of thousands." I mean, he counted the trucks, gave you guys an example of what the traffic is like out there. It has been 5 years. Is it being watched? Is it being looked at? What's going into Blue Creek? Do I have to worry about my septic backing up, my well going dry, Blue Creek being contaminated, property values falling? Where does it stop? But right now, the biggest concern, Craig was down to Cedar Rapids this last weekend. As soon as their trucks are parked down at Mount Mercy, they've got a 3-story dormitory, windows knocked out of it, getting ready to come down. We don't know where it's going. I think I know where it's going. Craig's willing to put money on where it's going. But I felt like, you know what, this is going on in February already. And
it goes pretty much continuous during the summer.
Yeah, I've had about my fill. I didn't move next to a quarry. I didn't move next to a landfill. I did move next to a chicken farm up the hill in Winter Hall and Pig Shed. I moved next to it, you know? It is what it is. That's commerce. That's capitalism. That's phenomenal. You know, these guys are doing business. I got it. I get it. And I support it. I don't support.
This has nothing to do with farming.
Hundreds of thousands of tons from another county get trucked out into our backyard.
I know that.
So,
May I ask a question?
oh my gosh, Rick, you could ask me.
Well, it's not to you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Les.
Sorry.
Could you folks identify yourselves? I presume at least 2 of you, maybe the third gal there. Are you all here for this with Les? Okay, could you identify yourselves, please?
My name's Gerald Bowick. I live at the dead end on 33rd Avenue across from Rick.
Gerald, you said?
Gerald Bowick.
Gerald, okay.
Hi, my name is Lori Lempia, and I live at 3341 54th Street Trail, so it's where the road forks past him, and then we're in the timber straight back. So we have to kind of utilize that to get home when it's all torn up.
Nancy Weber at 3360 54th Street Trail. Our road isn't a gravel road, it's a mud road after all the traffic.
Thank you for identifying yourselves. You know, it's good to know who we're talking to.
And I want to bring just one thing up. We lived in gravel road. I lived on it for over 30 years in Delaware County. They always had it crowned a little bit so when it rains, the water washes off. If you come out from the time you hit the road where the trucks are, all the way down until you get to Lynn County, that road is flat. It's got
Washboard?
Potholes.
washboard and potholes. And then they keep pushing the gravel with what is there to the side of the road. Well, that, I was told that's to bring it back. There's nothing to bring back. I just wish you guys would come out and drive that road. You would see where we're all coming from.
I have driven that road. I own property, basically right there at the end of the blacktop, okay? We've got many storage and some apartments, etc. We do not go down, I think it's 54th completely, but we turn and go on 32nd, okay? So I'm very well aware of the area. I'm aware that there's a, let's let them finish.
There's two houses here on this side. Yeah, she's right here on the corner.
I'm very well aware of where Les is talking. At the bottom of that hill near the zoo, it is a wet area. There's a creek, a wetland, if you will, that goes through there. Unfortunately, it is a public road, and if Myron Prezak, the county engineer, was here, he'd tell you that, you know, there's not much we can do about keeping people off of a public road. My questions are going to be more towards, is there a contract with Bob Briggs where this property's going? Is there a contract to haul out there? I would like to think there's something that says, other than just a gentleman's agreement, that yes, you can bring things out here, whether he's compensated or not. If he's not getting monetary compensation, he's at least getting his land filled in with a ravine.
Which I can understand for a ravine, but it's going beyond that.
Sure.
Beyond that.
Sure. Well, my question is, who's monitoring? We had this with conservation here just a week or two ago. Who's monitoring what goes into those trucks and or what's coming out of those trucks? If this is indeed coming from buildings, we all know that the tile out on the floor, most of the tile back in the day had asbestos in it.
Still does.
Is that tile being removed before it goes in to the landfill?
Well, I know part of that came from Highway 100 when they did that, because I've seen those trucks leaving there and follow them back there.
Well, that obviously is not building
For
debris.
one, but it's a lot of concrete, a lot of dirt. What if they get some contaminated soil that's got petroleum products in it or whatever? That's why they're correct. That's not a good thing.
So that's where I'm questioning, you know, should you be looking to see if there's contracts with this? Is there any environmental impact, studies? What has been going on? And 2 years ago, that road was horrible. Absolutely, positively dangerous to drive on, because the ruts were 12 to 18 inches deep.
I don't know if you guys know that. Vehicles were stuck on that road in the middle of summer. They were high centered.
I honestly thought it was going to take the undercarriage off the van.
And unfortunately, it wasn't the only spot in the county.
I know that. Right?
Yeah. And so, I think at that time we spent close to or over $2 million on gravel for the county. And a lot of that was just pushed down into the subsoil, unfortunately.
Sure.
That's the way a frost boil works. So, don't know that we can do anything. I would definitely visit with the sheriff and ask him to monitor their speeds, because talking to you on the phone, and listening to Gerald, your comments about, some of the unsafe driving, you know, I would definitely be visiting with the sheriff's office
I did that, I called sheriff and discussed
and
that.
ask him to monitor it, okay? I would be trying to contact Bob to see if there's a contract and with whom. Somebody pays these people to deliver it, so there's some contracting somewhere. Perhaps in that contract, there should be a clause for dust control. You know, of course, hindsight is always 20/20. There's no doubt about it. Oh, there's two hands going up here.
Does the county have any laws about commercial dumps? Do they have to get permission?
That's more of a Mark Greenlee question. I am not aware of anything, but I have only been involved here just a scotch over 4 years, so.
That's who I talked to.
Mark Greenlee, he's the one downstairs.
Right when you said that.
We knew who you meant. We knew who you
Well, I
meant.
know,
Sure.
like, when we had the bad winter here a couple winters ago, I know Lane County put it like a tariff on their roads, they wouldn't let farm equipment or nothing drive down. And we didn't do nothing like that, that would have stopped them from driving, at least when the roads were that bad.
That's a call from the county engineer. Now there was, is it Nancy?
Yeah,
Okay, you had a question.
one thing I feel bad for everybody that's driving that with these trucks coming, they're road hogs. They try pushing you off. I stopped
Again, that
dead
sounds
the other
like a
day.
sheriff's issue.
And the problem
Well, I
is they
think
have
that
to
was
stay on the
money, too. I
ground.
had stopped my car and he come by me and he was flying, and he just splattered my vehicle with mud.
They have to
He
stay
slowed
on
down
the ground because if they get over on the soft stuff, they're done.
But what we've heard was that Crown has been beat down where it's flat.
Yeah,
Right.
What's the speed limit on that road?
45.
Is it 45 or is it 50?
It's 45 till you get out to about the zoo and then it goes up. I think it's just past Dean's when the 45 goes away.
So there's a sign that says 45, and I'm not sure because of Iowa code says 55 on daylight.
And there's another one down there that says end of speed zone, so that's where the 45 quit.
Sure, and then it's 35.
I mean, coming, going east.
Going toward,
Going towards yours. If you come off the bridge, there's a sign that says 45, and then just past Dean's it says end of speed zone.
so I got it mixed up.
So there is at least a partial speed limit out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes, speed would hold some of the dust down. That's very true.
Sure.
You know, unfortunately, this board has not had a practice as people come forth from, you know, dusted neighbors, if you will,
Right.
of oiling the roads for them to hold that dust down. The county's not done that.
Well, I'm concerned, let's say we oil it. If there's that much traffic on that road, it ain't gonna stay.
Right.
That's correct.
It'll all break up.
And again, county doesn't normally do that. If they went together as a neighboring community and decided to oil, yeah, you're right. They're throwing their money out in the ditch because it's not gonna last.
And staff wasn't in here.
Right.
So one of the, if I can address one of your points, as far as the contract being made.
Yeah.
So
That's what you mean.
Nathan is Bob Briggs' boy, worked for Zinsser, and a very good friend of his, Jason Carr, also had the same capacity. They both worked with Zinsser at the time that the dumping began. And I believe that was also, you know, in the conversation with Bob, I'd like to fill in this ravine and have this area useful, which hats off, you know, good. You're bettering your property. I'm 100% behind. Heck, I'd like to put a pond in some point in time, you know. I get making your property better. I'm 100% behind that. The problem is Nathan and Jason have both left Zinsser. Zinsser has continued to come out. So I honestly don't believe that there's a contract. I don't know that for a fact, but I also, I'll ask you, Rick, if I walk up there and knock on his door and say, hey, can you produce a contract for the dumping that you got going on here? I'm not sure what I'm gonna get for a response, except for the fact of.
You're talking from Bob, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really not any of your business. And that's why I've come to you guys. We've gone to the engineer and he said, there's nothing that I can do, which I believe is wrong. I believe that it's not my job to police my neighbors. I need somebody that's got a little bit more, strength. That's why I'm coming to you.
I got a couple questions now. What kind of material are they hauling in? Is it just concrete? Is it lumber too, or is it dirt, or?
I have not
So
seen.
there's been tree limbs, there's been concrete, dirt, rock, I picked up big rocks off of the road, I picked up brick off of the road that have fallen off the truck. You know, I don't know what else, and I see tree limbs and stuff, so, I mean, it's a bit of everything that has to do with some sort of construction hauling.
Now, you made mention of Mount Mercy.
Yes, sir.
A few minutes ago, but you don't know if that's.
I do not. And I talked to Craig and I said the same things. Have you seen anything? Do you know anything? He said, Les, I don't know. And I said, that's fair enough. I just want to make sure when I go to talk to these guys that I'm not talking out of my rear end.
The only one I know for a fact is when they were hauling from Highway 100, because I was in Cedar Rapids and I followed one of the trucks all the way back and he went to Bridges.
And I know for a fact that the power plant down on the river came out there too. So there's a few jobs that I do know that's where they came from. But yeah, like what they're hauling now, this dirt.
It's pretty much just all dirt.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming. Well, if you look at where the bulldozer's pushing it off, there's some pretty big rock in there. So I don't.
But it's coming from the south.
Well, it's coming from Lynn County because I followed them off of Blair Straight Road.
Well, I followed them down. I went out and followed them all the way past County Home Road in Lynn County, and I don't know where he got off because he was driving. I was driving 73, 74, and he must have been doing 80. And I couldn't keep up with it. So I know somewhere around Cedar Rapids.
I'm sorry, Tracy.
The guy this Bob Gringe,
Bob Riggs.
B-R-I-G-T-S.
B-R-I-B.
B as in Bob. B-R-I-G-G-S.
Okay, I don't know the man at all. And I don't know, I'm not familiar at all with
Sure.
that area. I've been up there once or twice, but I
You should come
will
back. It's a nice area.
look into it.
Well, if you come up the interstate, if you come up from Cedar Rapids End, you'll see a big mound of dirt right there before you get to the off-ramp, probably a half mile or so before you get to the off-ramp south of that. That's where they're dumping.
There's a bulldozer and a hoe.
There's two bulldozers out there. They've been running so many here lately.
But this Bob owns the property.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how long you guys have all been on the board, and I'm not sure how long this visit went, but Don and I believe Joanne Felker, I don't know if Joanne came up or not, but they did come up and talk to the board once before when this all started. Don and Joanne own the land directly to the west. Don and Joanne have the house right there by the interstate, and their cows, or Steve's cows, run out in that field. And they had some major concern right away. At least reading the sign. But I know that this has come in front of you by them also. Anyway, so I guess I just wanted to make that was one of the things I wanted to make a point of.
Again, I've been here, just a skosh over 4 years now.
Okay.
And I know Don.
Oh.
I know the area quite well. Don owns the farm with the exit ramp there on 41, come off the interstate. He owns the farm adjacent to the exit ramp. So, I mean, it parallels.
Driveway on the south side.
Yes, and so, elderly couple.
She just passed away.
Yes.
I think he's 97, which is kind of another reason why I didn't bother him up today.
Yeah.
But yes, Bob Briggs does own the property.
So turn at the new Casey's, am I right, and go north?
If you don't have to turn, you go past
Well,
Casey's,
yeah.
go across the interstate. You know where the Lazy Acres RV park is?
No.
Okay. Well, you cross over.
Used to be a Topper place there.
Okay, that's
on the south
further.
side.
That's further west of the,
Army Corps of Engineers.
of the.
I mean, I've got another list
Okay,
of.
but if you cross
If I
the
walk out here
interstate,
without-
like you were gonna then get an on-ramp to go to Waterloo,
Mm-hmm.
just go straight. Goes north, just go straight north.
Alright,
Okay, this is the area they're talking about.
okay.
Okay, you get down in that ravine, that's where Craig Perry used to have a zoo with exotic animals, etc. Down in that ravine is a wetland area, and so, yeah.
I believe it'd probably be a controlled floodplain, if I were to,
Yeah.
to understand.
Again, my question is, you know, what's going out there, who's monitoring it, and are they,
I don't think anybody's on it.
well, somebody's loading the trucks, somebody's unloading the trucks, somebody's running the bulldozer, you know, this almost becomes an EPA question, you
Exactly.
know, so, of which we've got no control over. Our control is probably going to be, you know, do we put a weight limit on roads when the roads get soft? This board has not done that in the past, not only this board, but other boards that I'm aware of haven't done that. They take the recommendation of the county engineer. County engineer is the one that comes forth and says, I think we need to do this because the bridge isn't safe, and so we can only have so much weight on that bridge, you know.
Well, Lake County did do that a couple of years ago for the road.
Correct. Benton County a couple years ago did not,
Right.
when we had all those frost boils. I don't know why not, but we did not. So, but, other questions you got? I don't
That's pretty
know.
well, I wanna come up and look at it, see with my own eyes.
I don't know what we're gonna do about it, you know. It's
Up there
just,
when the frost
Do me
starts
a
going
favor
out,
when you do it.
you'll see when it's,
One-
it's worse than driving on Class B road. It is.
I can imagine that.
Do me a favor when you do it. Don't just stop right there. Just keep on going on that road till you hit the Lane County line,
Okay,
which is about, what,
Let's
3
see.
miles down, 3.5?
Yeah.
okay.
And you'll see the difference between Lynn County and us. Our road, like you said, it's a mud road. It's a shame.
So the trucks don't go back on the gravel road?
They don't come back
Lynn?
All the way where we
They
live.
just go, they take 54th Street Trail to 33rd Avenue and go south on 33rd Avenue to just about where it dead ends.
Yep.
Okay.
Good morning. You here for discussion on any particular thing, or?
See what bids go for.
Okay, thank you.
I'll probably be around tomorrow afternoon sometime. I'll take a drive and just take a look. I just wanna see it with my own eyes.
And I
Leslie,
live there at the corner, I will probably be home.
why don't you give him your phone number? Okay.
319,
You wanna write it on paper? You don't wanna?
You want it publicly known?
I don't care.
Okay.
If they wanna find me, they'll find me.
Okay.
I already got you, Lester. Go look for the chicken.
Right, 3237. The chicken, we'll call it chicken.
Okay.
I know this.
But, Rick, I don't know what county supervisors cannot do. I know that we've talked and I'm taking the steps. I feel like you guys need to know. I feel like there is some strength behind you guys that I don't have, but.
Well, don't take me wrong.
Sure.
If
No, I don't.
two years ago, I had no reason, no idea why we did not impose some weight limits or embargoes of some sort on some of these roads. Okay, because of those frost boils. If this is getting into that scenario again, I would like to see even, you know, we'd like to get Myron involved. I'm not trying to supersede him or something, but, you know, I would like to see that we would do something to try to curb some of that traffic. Now, realize if we put a weight embargo on that road, if Wayne Silo over there rents property and he needs to get in and it's wet and he can't get to his field, because his tractor's too dang heavy, he's gonna be one PO'd puppy.
We'll just do it after dark.
And I don't know that an embargo is the answer, but I know that the road we're going down right now, Wayne doesn't own a piece of equipment that could get down that except for his gator, when that road gets to where that road's gonna get, if they keep doing.
Well, I'm sure he's got stuff that can go through mud, so,
But you get my,
but it's gonna tear it up.
yeah.
But doesn't an embargo only stop other people if you're farming or anything? Can't you?
I would like to think that, farm equipment would be exempt, but I don't know that.
I don't
Okay,
think it is, Rick. I think embargo's embargo.
Yeah, I think you're right.
okay.
Cause I mean, we didn't run buses on embargo stuff, we had to do hard surface only.
And that's where I don't wanna go.
Oh,
You know? I'm sorry.
The
Yeah.
thing that I see that we could possibly do is, reduce the speed limit to some degree so that it's safe. If the speed limit's 45 and there's no way they can see, then it's too fast. But
Can you guys educate me on who does the permits and who's in charge of monitoring that? Because if they're hauling from out of county, they should have a permit.
That's what I'm asking, is
So you're not.
I wouldn't have a clue. And I don't know that the county gives permits to do stuff like that. We've already talked to Mark Greenlee about wood chips coming in and how that is all well and good, that there's nothing to stop that, if you will, and there wasn't anything environmentally unsafe with that. My question is if it's building material coming in, meaning buildings, who's monitoring that? If it's dirt and rocks, well, it's dirt and rocks.
But even the soil could be contaminated with the water down below.
Well, there could be, possibly, yeah, the coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that stuff. As long as it's not coming out of a petroleum site, where they've had, petroleum storage. Yeah.
this asbestos stuff, if they're just hauling in there, the asbestos has to go up to Waterloo. There's no place in Benton County that'll take asbestos.
Again, we don't know what's coming in. Is the problem.
Yeah, that's true, but we don't know, I agree with Rick, we don't know what's coming in or.
Right.
Let me check it, I'm also on the landfill board, so I know a little bit about the DNR,
Nice. Beautiful.
so.
There you go. You got your man.
Got my man.
Yeah. I just wanna look.
You're on the internet, you know that.
I know it.
He's got
need
your
to
number.
speak on that. Okay. Valerie had a question.
Can the county bill them for tearing up the road for the cost to repair it over and over?
Don't know that that's ever happened, has it?
I'm thinking on dirt roads it has in the past,
Okay. On dirt roads?
dirt roads, but I don't know that question. That would be between the Myron and the county attorneys.
Well, you're gonna go out there, get a eyes on.
I wanna look at it tomorrow.
And you'll
Yeah.
get a hold
Yeah,
of
I'll
Les.
call you in.
Beautiful.
Board, so.
It'll look just like mine, 4-door white dirty pickup. So, is there anything else I can,
That should do
Do
it.
you want to say something? Okay.
you did want to say something, I think I walked over you.
Oh, well, just the embargo idea, I think would be wonderful during the cross boil period of the year, but you said if embargo is embargo, we have a small RV and I don't wanna be like legislated that I can't
Depends
take
what
it
they
on a
put on
motor.
it for embargo.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is again, that chicken farm was there before I moved there. I don't want my complaint to stop them from hauling chickens. He's got a right to do his business and he was there and I don't,
But if you've got a,
Chickens anymore.
I'm sorry, the hog farm. I'm talking about the hog farm.
Yeah.
Thank you, I
yeah,
apologize.
and if there is a weight limit or some sort of embargo, I would guesstimate that an 80,000 pound load of hogs, legal limit for, a semi-tractor trailer, I doubt it's gonna be able to go down that road.
And I agree, and that's
Yeah.
not gonna stop our problem,
That
because,
embargo is lifted.
because the dump trucks, I mean, the one that I'm driving with one tag, I can haul 56,000 pounds, so even if you put a 25-ton embargo, they're gonna find a way to get in underneath that anyway. So, I don't believe an embargo is gonna stop what we've got going on. They're dump trucks, most of them. Might stop some of the Zinser trucks, but it's not gonna stop the dump
They did
trucks.
have a few side dump trucks, the big long ones, but not a lot.
I mean, so,
The biggest problem that I see with embargoes, if you do it countywide, there are farmers that need to get crop out in the springtime, and they only haul 3 or 4 loads. It's not a big deal. It's a lot different whenever you've got 20 or 30 or 40 trucks going down the road. I mean, and then there's 58,000 pounds. I can take a semi down the road one time, and it ain't gonna do near
Most
the
damage is 50 or 60 trucks an hour.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an embargo sign for that.
You
No,
can't have,
no dump trucks are doing more than 10 rounds a day.
you can't have a seasonal embargo.
Oh, I'm sure they can.
I mean,
I'm sure they
temporary
can.
embargo for-
We haven't, and 2 years ago when we probably should have, we didn't. So, but those, when you meet with Tracy, I would also look into the environmental aspect of it. Is there a contract, what are they hauling, and, as neighbors, I kinda wanna know what's coming in there. Because it's gonna affect the water table, if it leaches down, gets into the wells, I sure would like to know that.
Yep.
So,
I know that's what Don and Joanne were pushing for, and I'm not sure why it didn't move on, but,
sorry,
well, we're here now,
it was
so.
before my time anyway.
You know, they're bringing it out to Benton County, because there is no place in Lynn County for it. That's why it's coming out here.
I think it's also convenience, right down there.
Yep.
And
But is
just off.
it fair for us to have to live on a road that's not,
But there's,
It's not to a landfill. I mean,
Well, that was one of my opening points. And I didn't move next to a landfill, and I didn't move next to a sanitation, refuse area.
We'll just meet tomorrow.
Amen.
I thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I'll probably hit the road. Very good. Nice to see you, Wayne.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for listening.
we need rock.
Was that, deal up there at, Briggs?
Yep.
He and I have been keeping an eye on that.
Have they?
All right, I guess we're gonna start opening up bids.
Mike, are you still with us? Mike?
Yeah, if I can get my phone on mute.
Rick, you wouldn't have to have a letter opener with the stuff. And bring it.
You just throw it in that box.
Yeah.
Where's that little,
I got a nice
thing they had paper clips with it? Is it up there? Okay, look where those,
The actual box, yeah.
Way over. Wait, keep going. Look at that gray tray or black tray.
Pocket knife and pick up if it'll be good.
This'll work.
Holy crap.
That there should be one there, ain't there, Valerie? No? That scissors will work.
Ah,
There it is.
look at that.
Thank you very much.
We just moved all their stuff in yesterday.
Got one from a David Reed, $150 an acre.
Might want to speak up for that big money. David Reed, for 130?
Yeah.
130 or 120?
130, 130.
230, Michael Hopper. Got one for $300, wait, looks for Michael Harding. All of these are per acre, correct? Yes. We have Wayne, Violet, $275. We have one for $280 for Gary Holm, I think, G-O-Y-N-E.
What's your name, just in case, are you here to up bids or anything?
Well, talk about it.
Okay.
No, not now.
Alright, so I think everybody is here, right? For counting one.
Do we want to open it up for, that they can raise their bids when they're here, or? You can. We don't need to make a motion on that? What's it
It
advertised?
was advertising, if you don't.
Okay, I don't think so. Anybody want to raise their bid?
Question or two. Do we have any documentation of the utility programs going on out there? Last 4 years, last 8 years?
Not to my knowledge.
No. No soil test,
Not to my knowledge.
a way to know what the state of utility is like.
Gary, can you check with the SDS office on that?
Say that again.
I said Gary is our representative, and check on that. for us.
They won't have any utility, so. Yes, it's not the same. It's what utility is concerned, or what's going on. At least they don't want like.
It probably isn't my place to say this, but I'm going to anyway. I just absolutely think that you guys need to set a minimum fertilizer application with verification of it's actually done. And I'm not throwing rocks at anybody, I'm just saying that I think it's reasonable to expect your tenant to at least put property, we'll set some standards. Fertilizer will remove 200 bushel corn, 60 bushel beans, pick a number. But just to say, we don't care what you do or if you do anything, we're creating problems. Use it like you don't care about it. But that's just me.
I have a copy of the old lease that was used last time, and in there, under item 4, it talks about chemical fertilizers, minerals, etc., being the tenant's responsibility. I wrote on the front notation here that, you know, questioning if, same thing, if we should have, you know, a clause in there that requires, you know, monitoring that. So, but, you know, the horse is already out of the barn.
Could be me being me for 4 years ago, I think we had the same conversation. Just need this. You just need to do that. Not.
It's good
really for them.
stewardship.
But,
It's good stewardship.
well.
Yeah.
I mean,
We don't have a
96% of the
requirement.
people who rent that farm wouldn't do that, but just to know that they're doing that.
Right.
I mean, for a guy like me saying, hey, my bid is what my bid is because I'm not sure about this.
So it doesn't sound like anybody wants to change their bid. Am I correct?
What's your minimum bid raise?
Well, we have a bid here from April Harvey for $300 per acre, which is 11,400, 38 acres, correct?
38.4.
Oh, okay. So there's change.
Where'd you get that 38.4? Is that FSA acres or what is it?
And that's what's always been on the farm, old farm leases is that.
Yeah, but what I guess what I'm saying is there was a portion of that farm that was traded out and seeded for the county home. Is that excluded from it or?
I think we adjusted that on one of the previous ones,
Okay.
because that was brought up.
This one says 38, period. So,
Yeah.
ballpark.
So what is your minimum additional bid? Is it $10 an acre? Is it 5? Is it 1? What is it? I mean, does it matter?
It wasn't stated in the
Wasn't
ad
stated.
as such, nope.
I think you'd have to beat the high bid, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So, are you April? Oh. Thank you. Don't know.
Not knowing what the fertility's like, I think you just go ahead and do whatever you need to do.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the bid from April?
Harding,
Pardon?
H-A-R-D-I-N-G, Harding.
Harding?
I'd ask the question again, if you draw a new lease, will you put that fertility inclusion in there?
We can't do it, Wayne, since it's already started. It'll have to be 3 years from now.
Is the lease gonna be up in 3 years, or is that what it's gonna be this time instead of last year's issue?
No. The way the county attorney, I'm hoping that I asked him to put it in there that at the end of 3 years, this contract's gonna be null and void, and that it won't renew if the
Yeah.
tenant does not get notification by the 1st September.
Okay.
I'm trying to alleviate.
Basically,
No, cause that's what was the confusion last year on.
Correct. Correct, so this is what I asked him to word the new contract with.
the new lease has got the termination already in it.
So you have the opportunity to change the.
Mike, you can hear everything, correct?
You're breaking up quite a bit, but I think I got the gist of $300 an acre.
Yep.
I'm not interested in that.
So you're looking for a motion?
Yes, I am.
I'll make the motion that we accept April Harding's, sorry, massacred, bid for $300 per acre.
And second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I guess you have her phone number and all that.
Nothing's changed, right?
When the county attorney gets the contract done, I know he's been quite busy, I will see him tomorrow, and then I can find out how he's proceeding with the new contract. So, guess that's it.
I would suggest you go out to ASC's office.
He's currently the current one right now.
Yeah, he's currently.
I'd like to thank everyone for their bids, though. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Tracy, just an FYI, this is the old one. You're gonna copy that too.
Okay.
But he has got the one before that.
That's it?
We would,
That'll be very exciting. All right.
about fertility and stuff now. Does that work?
Can't do it now, it wasn't advertised.
That was just, Wayne just asked that question.
But we could do it, that it would be, included in the next
Say that
phase.
in this one.
3 years from now, right?
Yeah, there, but it don't say the facility. Yeah, yeah.
You'd have to advertise that in there, what you're expecting for those minimum.
Yeah, because
Just the old ass.
some people do that, you know what I mean, but I look at you, if you're paying big rent, you wanna raise the crop, don't you? You're not gonna,
Yeah, again, I've not had much experience with this. I had a little bit of land that I allowed somebody to farm, and they just farmed the living daylights out of it. And I never saw them put an ounce of fertilizer on it.
this is, like I said, I got the 14 contract, and then I got the last, 4 years ago contract.
17.
Okay.
Whenever you get into that fertilizing stuff, I mean,
Let's jump to the resolution for the final plat.
Yep, for Ferguson's,
Yes,
Mark Greenlee is aware of it, and I've talked with, Leo Bonifazi who did that.
okay,
So we just need a resolution to approve, it's a replat of the lot one.
so move.
And seconded.
all right, all in favor of the resolution by name, I guess?
Primer, aye.
Aye. Beer shank, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. The only thing on this resolution, Haley, on the very bottom, the resolution was passed and approved on 9th day of February 2021. That should be March, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I have
Or
it.
we just, very bottom line there, of the signature.
Oh, yep.
So should
Should
we
be March
change that?
2nd. I'll tweak it.
Okay,
So let's just do it because if they come in and want to if they want it
okay,
filed.
all right,
They were gonna get on last week and that's why.
okay. Gary? Approve cyber technology liability insurance renewal application.
That's a yearly thing through Heartland. You have that form right there.
Okay,
So move.
I have a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will go. He's done signing that. Reports, anybody?
We had a ton of meetings last week, didn't we? And I think probably, well, I had a hate cap meeting. Same old, same old. Unfortunately, to say that, it's unfortunate to say that there's a huge demand for assistance, food assistance, etc., through NACAP. And then Friday had a Central Iowa Juvenile Detention meeting up in Eldora, which I attended, but so did Gary. And Gary came up to do the tour of the property, and I'll turn it over to Gary, see what he thought of that.
It's quite a facility. They're gonna build a new facility the way it sounds.
There's an addition which I have reported on that's in the works. It's approximately a $4 million addition, and this is for the adult waived. If you remember me talking about that, the adult waived juveniles, so waiting to go to adult court. And many of them are maintained for a longer period of time. And they are many times much harder to deal with because they don't have a lot of consequences. So Gary got to see the plans with that, got to see where it was going to be located. It's
a really well-run operation. They will, in my opinion, I think they'll cover the whole state within probably 5 or 7 years.
Now, this was a juvenile
detention center.
And you were representing that county.
That is correct. Gary is the alternate,
Okay.
but he received the email inviting anyone to come up and do a tour. He did not participate in the meeting, but he sat through the meeting so he could hear what was going on and discussed about, well, they do their financials and their monthly expenses, etc.
Do they,
Go ahead.
it wasn't virtual then, it was actually in person?
Both.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
A lot of people show up then, or?
Oh, I would say at least 3/4 of the people showed. I like the Zoom meetings, I really do. It's one of those that we, in this particular case, and we drove separately, we did not go together. Well, because that's somewhat of a concern, that we would be a quorum that would, conversation could lead to other things. It's not the case. I didn't even know he was coming. But,
I was there an hour early.
well, he was there for the tour. But Zoom is convenient. It's a 2.5+ hour drive for me. It was longer for Gary, I'm sure, because he's further south, and you're in a meeting for about an hour and a half. That's why Zoom is nice, but you do miss out, as Haley has said in the past, in that personal contact. I visited with other supervisors and how they're handling their courthouses, etc. And we're not so far off base. So, meeting after meeting.
Well, it's good to know, find out what other counties are doing, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Gary said, these people have got their act together. Unfortunately, it's the funding. The funding through the legislature is not always equal. So on a per bed, that's how they go, is how many beds. And so it's not always equal, unfortunately. We'd like to see if we can get that remedied. So next month, Gary, you remember, was it 17th or something like that? I have to get the calendar here.
He's gonna let us know, I think.
There is going to be an open meeting and luncheon. Get my calendar here. I think it's going to be probably on the 19th. That's the 3rd Friday. I think they were shooting for that. But again, they're waiting to talk to some legislature people to see when they're available.
And I left after you did, they'd already responded.
Oh, really? No kidding.
It was like 10 minutes, they had a response.
Okay. Did they kind of hammer out a date?
I think it's gonna be the 19th.
Okay.
Don't know for sure.
So to kind of lobby our legislatures to be a little more fair as far as their funding allocation. That's the intent of it.
They cut a wide swath out of the center of the state.
I've showed you those, and if you'd like to see it, I can give you that again.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I remember you showing me the maps.
Yep.
They take a lot of area.
They sure do. Some counties actually divide the centers because they're a little closer on one half of the county compared to the other half, so Oh, okay. That's what I had.
Gary, you got any more?
People over here really like the room,
Oh, the walls.
yeah,
You guys worked all weekend on that, didn't you?
Tracy did,
I heard you help.
a little. It's hard for me to, I don't like to mess with other people's tools. So I just did
Thanks for helping me yesterday.
Dana, I think's gonna move in this week, next door. Secondary roads was hauling gravel this morning to get the west door opened up so they can drive through the building. They're gonna put a load over here on this side because it's getting smeary again.
they could put a load north of this door.
They're gonna do that too. I didn't want to put that much there if we're gonna concrete it this summer, so,
Yeah.
but still,
If we're concreting this summer, we've got to get the ball rolling because
Well, and I have something from Penny on that too. 'Cause
Yeah.
remember, for the DHS, for their budget for the amortization, we have to, they had some in it for this current fiscal year too, just like we did.
well, so can we do half now and half later? I mean, we got till June 30th, correct?
For this fiscal year,
Yeah.
for spending authority. But for them, we're only gonna get 30%, but it has to be it's gonna be broken down over 10 years. We'll get paid back 30%, but in 10 years in time,
Okay.
for
So,
their portion. But we don't know on the mental health because it's still county dollars, so it's either one fund or the other. At this point, I feel like you guys, I have to have the budget to the paper Thursday. So I really need to be able to focus and stop adding and changing, or I'm not gonna make those deadlines.
and as Rick, I don't think these other two guys know that I figured it out, it's gonna be right around 85,000 to do the parking lot up to within 10 feet over top of the where the snow's piled right now, and then a 24-foot driveway out to the street. But the only thing on the street deal that Benton and I found out has an ordinance that you're not supposed to, they have an 8 or 16-foot easement in case the sewer or water runs along there. You're supposed to use asphalt, I guess, up here in Benton. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, that's just on the edge of it.
so the 85,000 is what the concrete cost would be.
Yes,
Okay.
labor and everything.
What's that?
Labor and everything.
Oh, really?
We're just talking this portion, not over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to see, I did not realize it until last week when I measured that up. I thought that gravel went all the way up to the marquee that's out there, and it don't, it
I
stops.
don't think so.
Yeah, it stops a lot sooner.
Mhm.
So, and then I showed Gary over the weekend, I said, if you look at the lay of the land, the way the water is melting right now, it's all falling to the west and northwest right now. So I says, to me, you wouldn't have to dig anything out, because you know the sidewalk here and going to the north is already 6 inches high. You could,
Correct.
you could start right on grade right now and start pouring, so.
And then we're all done with the transportation giving us the money back. I got that last check yesterday.
Okay,
So they paid their 318,000. So anything above and beyond that is gonna be our cost. Which would be just the plumbing, right?
Yeah.
So we'll still have a little bit extra that I budgeted for out of that capital project as well.
Okay.
For this fiscal year, so I don't know if there is any more costs over there.
should not be anything interior, it's gonna be like sidewalks and stuff like that this spring.
Okay, so I'll probably just leave that into the capital projects, whatever.
So are you proposing that we get moving on this parking lot and get that in the budget?
We have some in it for this current year.
Okay. Right. Do you have that much money in there?
I think I have 130 in capital projects.
Okay.
So it should cover it.
Should cover it.
So, but that's why I had to make sure we weren't doing it by June 30th. Then I need to put the spending authority in for fiscal year 22.
Okay. So is that something we wanna start getting out there for bids?
I guess we could.
Or do you have to wait till all the snow's
The
done.
frost has gotta be gone, the snow's gotta be gone, yeah, but I mean, like he said, we could actually put it out for bids.
That'll be gone by next week, probably, snow.
And I know the employees that park here would love it because it is a mess out there.
Well, in all honesty, you start tracking all that into the building,
Well, I'll tell you, there's carpet out there right now.
it's not
Yeah.
crazy.
Cause it's a mud mess. Yep, that was a good
Yeah.
idea.
You can squish all the way into the building.
No budget work, right?
I am pretty much going with what I got with the spectrometry and everything, because I have, like I said, I'm submitting to the paper. That's why I was concerned about moving Ben's office, because that is not accounted for anywhere.
Okay.
Because, obviously we moved Dana's expenses from that building out here. So then the janitors and department heads wanted to not account for electrical, because then there's internet, all those costs, phone, everything. So,
Which all those lines are already ran, correct?
but then there's the monthly fees and,
But like his phones, he's already got phones there, don't they just move them?
well, it's under Myron's right now. Secondary roads covered some of that.
That's what they were doing yesterday. I wasn't around for all of it, but Ben come in late in the afternoon and he was setting up their computers and all that. And I see Terry's vehicle is over here this morning
I
on the
think she
street.
actually started in there. didn't she?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. So Terry's over there right now. So. And they had some buses in there overnight, because when I come here earlier this morning, you know, they were bringing the buses back out this side while secondary roads was working on the other side.
I got all your keys too, I'll give to Luke.
I paid for yours.
So, he does it. Okay, so we're good on that.
Okay. One more thing I was gonna bring to everybody's attention. As you've seen, if you've been in the hallway, I got the, walls stacked in the hallway here. I didn't wanna move them and move them and move them and move them, so I
We
got.
talked about that, right?
The girls, I mean, it's in a good place where they are right now. It's not gonna be permanent, of
For
course.
temporary.
Yes.
Mhm.
The girls, in the access center, they were supposed to put them on either, well, it sounded like they were doing it this morning since they took some of my tape measures.
They were.
And they're gonna see what we can get out.
Oh, they're gonna put them posted on Facebook.
Yeah, they're gonna put them on Marketplace, Facebook, whatever.
The problem is, cause they're so cut according to these rooms and angled, it's gonna be.
Cause I told them, I said they could take pictures of one of the other two rooms that are already existing. They're all the same, so. See what they look like put together, so. And, as for the doors, I'm not gonna be able to salvage them. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
We
have to
knew
buy
it
new
was
ones.
a long shot,
Yeah,
no big deal.
so that's it.
That makes the walls worth more now.
So you're looking for a motion, since you said that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
What's that?
Did you do citizen input?
Nope, you can talk.
No, yeah, oh, it's not even on here.
Well,
Okay.
public comment.
Public interest.
Public interest.
Okay.
I requested an open records, and I don't know how that works. How does that work to get a copy of something that was in a meeting?
You can do it verbally or submit it in writing or an email.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
And do you know what she's wanting for sure?
I think I do, not for sure. I'm gonna have to look at that email again. Cause what she's requesting, I don't think I have.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe you just have her specify what Gmail she's talking about.
Did that right?
Yep.
Okay. Motion adjourned then?
Yeah, you made the motion, we didn't vote. I think Gary's second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.